Yeah, good morning, everybody. Let's zoom out a little bit. Ready to do our warm up, get started, get busy, get our mind working, right? Maybe make your mind sweat a little bit. Good workout warm up, right? Gonna challenge you with a few of these. So let's get busy. You copy it down after you press pause. Come back, get help, or check your answers, whichever you need. Reminder on square roots, what you're doing is you're asking yourself what number times itself equals that. This is not going to be 8, right? Because 8 times 8 is not 16. So you're looking for a square that has an area of 16 and trying to figure out what each side is going to be. Remember, it's times itself. Okay? So remember, that's how you're doing that. And remember, Miss Nort's the genius, right? She helped us find a way to remember how to make dividing fractions easy, like multiplying fractions is. And how do we remember how to do that without getting them confused? And remember what this is, the SMF, right? When I'm going to divide a fraction, I'm going to write SMF. And what does that really stand for? Well, the way she taught us sixth graders to remember it is smell my feet, right? And then you giggle and you laugh and you think, I can remember smell my feet because that's kind of silly, right? But what does it really mean? It means you're going to keep that first number the same, right? That's the S. Don't mess with that first number. So I'm going to write 7/8 here, right? I'll write 3/5 here. That's how I'm going to start each of these problems, leaving that first number the same. It's easier. What's the M really stand for? Multiply, because again, we want to make these problems easy, and multiplied fractions is easy, right? And instead of feet, what are we saying? We're saying flip. So I'm going to, instead of 7/8 divided by 1/4, I'm going to do 7/8 multiplied by 4/1. And then bam, that's all I got to do. I'm multiplying fractions, and that is easy. Okay? All right. Take off. I'll see you in a little bit. Yeah, welcome back. Let's see how you did on these answers. First, the diamonds. We're looking for a product on top, a sum on the bottom. Two numbers multiplied together equal 54. When you add, you get 15. How about 9 and 6? How about 5.6 and 7.8? How about 7 and 8/10, right? 7 plus 8/10 is 7 8/10. 7 times 8/10 is 7 times 8 is 56. But I had to move the decimal over one spot here to pretend that was an actual 8 instead of 8/10. So I have to go back one spot in my answer. Boom. 48 thousandths and 86 hundredths. How about 8/10 and 6 hundredths? If I add those, remember, you're going to line up those decimals, stack them, and then I'll fill in a 0 to make that look a little less awkward, right? I can put a 0 after that 8. I do get 86 hundredths. When I multiply, go 8 times 6 is 48. But remember, I had to move the decimal over one spot here to pretend that was a whole number, and 2 spots here. So that's a total of 3 spots. So I got to go back 3 spots in my answer. 1, 2, 3. Put an egg in that egg carton, and we got the right answer. Okay. Now, did I stump you with any of these yet? I'll probably stumped you with this one, huh? Oh, not some of you. Some of you starting to recognize 3 times 3 1/2 is 3 3s. That's 9. 3 halves is 1 1/2. And 9 and 1 1/2 is 10 1/2. And then I got 3 plus 3 1/2 is 6 1/2. Okay. All right. What number goes here? If I have a square that has an area of 16, each side must be 4. The square root of 16 is 4. What if the square had an area of 91 or 81? Ooh, bad, Mr. Daniel. Give me the answer. Square root of 81 is 9. And what number times itself is 25? 5. What number times itself is 49? The square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 9 is 3. What's the square root of 100? It's not 50. What number times itself equals 100? That's going to be 10. What number times itself equals 64? Well, the square root of 64 is 8, and the square root of 36 is 6. How you doing on these? Kind of fun once you figure them out, huh? Yeah, math can be fun. All right, we're doing a generic rectangle to multiply. 4 1/2 times 3 2/3. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 2/3 is 8/3. 3 times 1/2 is 3/2, and 2/3 times 1/2 is 1 times 2 on top, 2 times 3 on the bottom, 2/6. Okay, now I'm going to go add all these. I got 12 3/2. I'm going to simplify, or I'm going to get a common denominator, 2/6 and 8/3. And the common denominator looks like it's going to be 6. So I doubled the 3, I doubled the 8, 16, 6. I didn't do anything to the 6. 2, 6, and I multiplied 3/2 times 3 over 3. So that's 9, 6. 9 and 2 is 11 plus 16 is 27, 6. Now I have to figure out what that is by dividing the bottom into the top. And 6 goes into 24, nice even 4 times. So I got 3 left over. Remember, your remainder goes on top. What was outside goes on the bottom. Now 3/6 is the same as 1/2, right? So 12 and 4 1/2 equals 16 and 1/2. Okay, you want to double check that? You can treat this as 4 1/2 times 3 2/3 and do what's called the C method. Turn these into fractions, right? 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9 over 2. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 2 is 11 over 3. And you go straight across the top. 9 times 11 is 99. Straight across the bottom, 2 times 3 is 6. Okay. And I recognize that 3 goes into the top and bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and simplify that now. 3 goes into 6 2 times and goes into 99 33 times. Now I divide 2 into 33. Let's do that up here. 2 goes into 3 once. What do I do after I subtract? Bring down the next number. And 2 goes into 13 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. What do I do with that remainder? Remainder goes on top. Divisor on the bottom. 16 1/2. Isn't that what we got? It is, huh? So we must have done it right. Same idea here. 6 times 4 is 24. And now I have 6 times 1/3 is 6/3. I'm going to go ahead and simplify that now because I recognize that 6 is double 3. So that's the same as 2 over 1 or 2. That's going to make that easy, huh? 4 times 2 is 8. So this is 8/5. And 1 times 2 on top. 3 times 5 on the bottom. So I have 24 and 2. That's easy. 8/5 and 2/15. So I'm going to change these to 15ths. 2/15 stays, but to change 8/5 to 15ths, I have to multiply the 5 times 3. So I do the 8 times 3. 24 and 2 is 26/15. That's more than a whole, isn't it? Right? I'm going to use 15 of those 15ths to make this one bigger. And then when I use 15, I got 26 minus 15, 11 left. So 11/15 and 24 and 2 plus that 1 I carried, right? So that's 27 11/15. You want to double check using the C method. 6 2/5, 4 1/3. Let's do this up here. 6 2/5 times 4 1/3. And again, C method. 5 times 6 is 30 plus 2, 32 fifths. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1, 13 thirds. Now that bottom's easy, right? That's going to be 15, but the top, 13 times 32. Wow. Okay, 10 times 32 is 320. So that's in my head right now. And then 3 times 30 is 90, and 3 times 2 is 6. So 320 and 96. That's 416. Now that's a division problem. I got to divide 15 into 416 if I want to double check this, and I do. Now, if I double 15, I get 30, so I'm going to put 2 there. 2 times 15 is 30. Now I subtract. What do I do now? Bring down the next number. I know that 6 times 15 is 30 because 3 times 30, 6 times 15 is 90 because 3 times 30 is 90. So I can fit one more in there, right? Okay, so I'm going to go 7 here. And 7 times 15 is 90 and 15, 105. What do I got left over? 11. My remainder goes on top. Divisor on the bottom. 27 and 11/15. That sounds familiar. Good job. You did it right. All right, perimeter's easy. I add up all the way around the outside, 15, 12, and 9. So I'm going to go to 15 and 9. That's 24, and 12 more, 36. And I'm going to go in a different order just to make sure. 9 plus 12 is 21, plus 15, 36. Okay, 36 meters on that. Now the area, I don't need that 15 for the area. I need to know how wide it is and how tall. And in this triangle, since it's a special triangle, a right triangle, that's these two sides. The base, okay, and the height. The height is actually a side. And the area is half of the base times the height. Don't go doing 9 times 12 and getting 108 and thinking you're done. You got to take half of that. But what's easier is, since this is even, I'm going to take half of the 12, 6. I go 6 times 9, and that was up here, wasn't it? 54 square meters. Okay, area is 1/2 the base times the height. If you didn't remember that, then you need to write somewhere big, A equals 1/2 times B times H, and don't put a box around it, put a triangle around it. Okay, maybe even put B down here and dotted line, H there, so you know what the base and the height are. All right, back to Miss Nort's and her smell my feet method of dividing fractions, right? Same 3/5. I'm going to multiply instead of divide. And I'm going to flip the 2/3 into 3/2. Multiply across the top. 3 times 3 is 9. Across the bottom, 5 times 2 is 10. And I cannot simplify that. I'm already done. Same multiply, flip. Leave that 11/12. I'm going to multiply instead of divide because multiplying fractions is easy. And I'm going to flip the 1 over 2 to 2 over 1. 2 times 11 is 22. 1 times 12 is 12. Now 2 goes into the top and bottom. 11 times there and 6 times there. And 1 is 6. 11 6 is 1 whole with 5 6 left over. All right. I didn't finish this one. I'm going to cross cancel. Remember how we cross cancel? I'm going to say a 4 goes into the top here once and goes into the bottom here twice. 7 times 1 on top. 2 times 1 on the bottom, 7 halves, and I simplify that. That's 3 1/2. Okay, now what do I do here? Do I just leave this and then multiply 2/3 times 6 over 1? No, I gotta make this whole thing, okay? So when you get these, make sure you turn the thing into a fraction. That means improper fraction. That mixed number, you want it to just be a fraction, not a whole number and fraction. So I'm using the C method. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. Now that's the same. I'm going to multiply, and instead of 1 over 6, I'm going 6 over 1. 6 times 11, 1 times 3, and 3 goes into the top and bottom, goes in the bottom once. It goes into 66 22 times. 22 over 1 is 22. C method, right? 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 1 is 9 over 2. And so that's going to be 9 halves. And instead of dividing, I'm going to multiply. And instead of 3 over 8, I'm going to flip it. Smell my feet. 8 over 3. And I can simplify this. I'm going to go ahead and multiply 9 times 8 and 2 times 3. 6 goes in the bottom once. It goes into 72 12 times because I know 72 inches is 6 feet. I'm 80 inches. So 12 over 1 is 12. Now, again, we could have simplified before I started here because 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 goes into the bottom over here 1 time. 2 goes in the bottom over here once. It goes in the top over here 4 times. 1 times 1 on the top or the bottom, right? And 3 times 4 on the top, 12 over 1. That's what we got. Same answer. Okay. All right. What do you do with 8? Well, turn it into a fraction. 8 is 8 over 1. So that's the same. It's the same. It equals. Instead of dividing, I'm going to multiply. Instead of 2 over 5, smell my feet. F stands for what? Flip. So instead of 2 over 5, I'll go 5 over 2. 8 times 5 is 40. 1 times 2 is 2. And 2 goes into 40 20 times. Again, if I talk too fast, the advantage of a video is you can rewind and say, what did he say? Right? You can hear it again. Take advantage of the fact that you can press pause You can rewind, you can do things again. Okay. All right. Have a great day. Have a great week, everybody.